Guys.
God, my nose is running from laughing so hard.
I have been dying to tell Kara the story
She
that I'm
has
about
been
to tell you today.
holding out on me, and
It's been really difficult.
So surprised because she struggles with this.
I'm really bad.
Because she wants to tell me all the great stories.
When I'm excited about a thing, it's hard for me to keep my mouth shut. But that means I've been telling everybody else, like people that don't care.
Yeah, it's great.
But I've almost broken down and told you a few times.
Oh, I know.
And I keep thinking like, no.
Megan and I communicate via Marco Polo, and so she will like start to be like, there's this funny part, and then she'll stop. And I'm like, oh, dang it.
Or just jokes I want to make that reference this case, and I can't yet. But that's okay, because that all ends today.
We're doing it.
Yeah, this is the This is the Witches, Magic, Murder, and Mystery podcast.
And I'm Kara.
And I'm Megan.
Here we go.
I have a murder story.
A murder.
And so this story came to my attention because of a friend of mine who we were all out to dinner one night. Oh, God. I'm trying to record while we also talk about this episode. And let me just tell you, it's not easy.
It's not easy.
Not
Things
easy.
are happening.
Jesus Christ, what's happening? Still recording?
Are we still here? Can you hear us?
Hey, YouTube. Okay. So we're all out to dinner. And we were talking about the crazy murder story that it's like happening right now as we speak.
Yeah.
Murdow.
Yeah.
In South Carolina. If you guys want to catch up on that case, it's a literally happening right now case. And Sinisterhood, which is another podcast that we
just
both love
them.
They've done a 3-part series on it that is as up to date as it can possibly be. Like they added an extra episode because there was a new development.
Right.
And they've all come out in September, and they're so good. And it's the best resource I could tell you if you're into podcasts to look it up and listen to get what's happening in that case. So anyway, we're at dinner, we're discussing this case, and a friend of mine says, oh, my great aunt was the first woman to be executed in South Carolina. And I was like,
What? Excuse me.
What's happening?
Yeah.
And I was like, for what? Because I don't know. What?
Yeah.
And she was like, murder. And I was like, what? How are we just now?
Well, and always we're like, I wonder what the descendants of this family are.
Now
you know.
Now we know. She said they don't talk about it very much. And I'm like, I guess you wouldn't.
Yeah.
But so let me just tell you, okay?
Okay.
First off, I do want to tell you that this story took place in the 1940s.
Okay.
Which, when I'm telling it to you, it's going to sound like it happened in the, 1860s or something. But it's not. Okay? It's not that long ago. It all started in 1940.
Okay.
Davis Timmerman and Wallace Logue were neighbors.
Okay.
And Timmerman had a mule, and the mule got into the Logue's field.
Okay.
And when I was a kid, we had this goat. It constantly broke out of our field and went into the neighbor's field.
Oh, they like to go see friends.
Yeah. Well, that neighbor had a bunch of goats, and we just had one.
Yeah.
So I'm sure our goat was like,
I'm going to make some friends.
Look at all them.
I'm going to make some friends today.
So over and over, he would go over there. And finally, my dad was like, you can just have it. He's your goat now. It's fine. It just wanted to be with its friends. So yeah, that's what farm animals do. Our cows got out a lot.
Oh, horses and cows are getting out. Cattle are getting out all the time.
Like the phone would ring late at night.
There's a chicken at the McDonald's up here. Oh yeah, our thoroughbreds.
They'd be like, Joe, your cows are out again.
The thoroughbreds would get out all the time, and you'd just see people chasing them down the street trying to wrangle them into the field.
Do you remember that cow that got loose in Lexington, like downtown Lexington, a few years ago?
Yes.
It was so great. It was just this cow that did not care about anything. And it was all over the news, and there were pictures all over social media of people being like, there's this cow downtown Lexington, just chilling.
Yeah. He's just like, hey guys, a little change of scenery today.
I love cows so much. So when that happened, of course, everybody sent it to me.
Everything. Yeah.
Okay. So anyway, this mule gets into Wallace Logue's field.
Okay.
And it kicks one of the calves.
Oh.
And the calf died.
Oh, no.
Poor little thing. So Wallace is...
That's an aggressive mule.
Yeah, yeah. I don't know what happened to make it. We didn't get the story from the mule.
Yeah. We couldn't interview him.
So Wallace is not happy, and he wants to be compensated
for
his mule, which, it is. It's worth a lot of money. And so especially back then. So he wants to be compensated for the death of his calf.
Okay.
And the two men agreed on $20.
Okay.
So Mr. Logue goes to Mr. Timmerman's country store to get his money. But when he got there, apparently he was like $40. And Timmerman's like, well, that's not what we agreed on.
Yeah.
So he refused to pay it. And then Wallace just like pulls out a weapon, grabs an axe handle, and begins beating Davis with it. And then Davis Timmerman, he had a gun like in a drawer nearby, probably because he owns the shop. He pulls out the gun, fires it twice, kills Wallace Logue.
Oh my gosh.
The fight ended. Wallace Logue was dead. And of course, Davis went to trial, but because it was self-defense.
Right.
And I think there were witnesses and they all backed it up. He wasn't like nothing happened.
He was acquitted.
Yeah. So Wallace Logue left behind a widow, Sue Stidman Logue, who also happens to be the great-great-aunt of one of my favorite people. And Sue was very unhappy that Timmerman was not punished for killing
and now
her
she
husband.
doesn't have the money for a cow either.
Right. I mean, you would be mad for a lot of reasons, right? The man murdered your husband. So Sue, being a romantic, was not about to let her husband's death go unavenged.
Oh, Sue.
So she and her brother-in-law, George, hired a man named Joe Frank Logue, who was their nephew. I think George must have been Wallace's brother.
Okay.
So their nephew. He was also a member of the Spartanburg Police Department.
Oh, no.
So I guess they thought because he was a police officer, he would have some contacts. And they were like, we're going to give you $500. We want you to go find someone to take care of Davis Timmerman.
Oh, my gosh.
So they gave him $500. And he turns around and he pays a man named Clarence Bagwell, who he's described as a down-on-his-luck plasterer. Which is just a description I've never heard before. You're a down-on-your-luck plasterer.
Plasterer. Are you...
Well, and now he's a hitman, apparently.
Which
so
plasterer?
I guess when you're a down-on-your-luck plasterer, you need other forms of income. I don't know.
Okay.
Yeah.
Oh.
So a year later, because I guess these things take a while to plan. I don't know. Joe Frank Logue drives Clarence Bagwell to Timmerman's country store. Joe waits in the car while Clarence goes inside, and Davis Timmerman is behind the counter, and Clarence is like, hey, I need this thing that's behind you. So when Timmerman turns around to get it, he shoots him. Clarence shoots him 5 times.
Oh my God.
So Timmerman died instantly.
Well, yeah.
That could have been it. They might have gotten away with it.
Yeah.
Except that Clarence, the down-on-his-luck plasterer, he ends up telling some woman that he'd killed a man for $500.
Sir.
I guess this is how he bragged. Like, this is how he attracts women.
Listen, I'm a hitman. I'm no longer a plasterer.
Listen, that's not sexy. Okay.
My luck is on the up and up right now.
I went from a down-on-my-luck plasterer to an up-on-my-luck hitman.
It's great. Things are going wonderfully for me.
The woman was like,
that's questionable.
I'm going to tell the police.
I'm going to make your luck even worse right now, sir.
And now you're back to being now you're a down-on-your-luck hitman.
Yeah.
So the investigation led them to Bagwell and Timmerman's country store. Clarence confessed, and he told police that Joe Frank Logue had hired him.
Oh, no.
And so then they go to Joe, and he told police that he had been hired by his Aunt Sue and Uncle George to kill Davis Timmerman. So this whole thing is just unraveling and falling apart.
It's a cluster.
So all of this leads police to Sue's home on November 16th, 1941. Now, somehow George, the brother-in-law, he had gotten a heads up that the police were on their way. And so George and his friend Fred, who just kind of appears out of nowhere, Fred Dorn.
What's Fred doing?
I don't know. Fred's just bored.
Fred's hanging
He's like,
out.
hey, you want to come over and ambush some cops with me? And he's like,
great.
Yes.
I love it.
So they ambush the sheriff and the deputy on their way. And there's a big gunfight. And the sheriff dies immediately. The deputy is seriously wounded.
Oh my gosh.
And George and Fred are also both wounded, but not like real bad. So it was a gun battle.
Yeah.
So again, this is like 1941.
It's not the Wild Wild West.
Not Tombstone Times, which is the greatest movie ever made.
Yeah.
This is 1941. So
this isn't Lawless with Tom Hardy.
Or Yellowstone or any. Actually, I've never seen Yellowstone. I don't know why I just referenced it. Everybody in the world is telling me I should watch Yellowstone.
I know,
is it a Western?
I don't know.
I think because it sounds like Tombstone, I immediately think it's a Western, but now I'm not even sure.
I don't know. Are you all just
ignore that reference if it didn't make sense.
Buffalo?
Buffalo. What is the plural of buffalo? Buffaloes? It's just buffaloes.
I think
right? Buffaloized better. All right. The deputy who was wounded ended up dying the following day. Oh. So we have the dead farmer, the dead store owner, the murder for hire, and now 2 police officers have been killed. All because a mule kicked a calf.
Oh my God. All because somebody wanted $40 instead of 20.
Yeah. Ugh. Okay, so the governor sent the state police and the deputies from the neighboring county to go to Sue's farmhouse, where she, George, and Fred were all staying, like barricaded inside for some big gunfight. Like, I don't know what your plan is at this point.
Yeah.
Like, we're all just going to hole up in the house and hope for the best.
It's going to be great, guys.
Just like go down in a blaze of glory. Or maybe it's like, once they've gotten so far down this path, like her husband's been murdered, they've paid somebody else.
It is what it is.
They're just like, yeah, we may as well commit at this point to being pure garbage.
Firearms in their pants, suspenders, like firearms just like running out the doors.
Well, and I feel like I almost wonder if like she felt, and the guy too who was his brother, if they're like, well, we have to do something. Like he was my husband, my brother, they were murdered. Right. He was murdered. And we can't just let that go.
So we're going to take it into our own hands.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know. So
wild. She's so wild.
So law officers, by the way, I did tell my friend, like, hey, I'm absolutely going to tell this story on the podcast. Is that okay? And she was like, totally fine.
Oh, yeah.
So law officers,
we can't talk today.
So law officers surrounded the house. But really, they just want the Logues and Fred to come outside.
Right.
Like, they don't want
a shootout
to have a big, risk anybody else getting killed. At this point, this is where.
Oh, gosh. Okay.
Judge Strom Thurmond, whose name you might recognize because he would go on to become Governor Strom Thurmond and Senator Strom Thurmond, gets involved. Now, he's described as a family friend, and more on that in a minute. He entered the home unarmed.
He just walked right in?
He just walked in, and he convinced Sue, George, and Fred to surrender. They came
Sue,
out
I'm here for
peacefully.
tea. I don't want anything else. I just want tea. We're going to sit down, talk about this.
Well... Okay, so I was trying to think of a joke I could make there, but listen, I don't even need to make a joke. I'm just going to read you. Okay, why was he able to do this? Like, why was he able? Number one, why did he show up?
Yeah,
why did this guy
come from?
Show up? Why was he able to walk in? And then they listened. They were like, okay, fine, Strom says so. Yeah, we're gonna
do it
after they'd already shot and killed police. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
like these weren't chill people.
These weren't like minor.
Right. So here we go. By the way, this is all rumor, apparently, or whatever. Allegedly,
we love
opinions. It. There are sources in the show notes.
The mule's mouth.
So here's Strom's connection. Okay. Strom Thurmond had been at some point the superintendent at the school where Sue was a teacher.
Okay.
And they had developed a very close friendship.
Oh, did they? Oh, Sue.
Rumor has it there wasn't. Rumor has it there was an affair.
Rumor mill.
And that they'd even been caught having sex in his office.
Oh.
Allegedly. And now, Kara, I'm about to tell you the sentence that I have been dying to read aloud to you.
Oh my gosh.
Ever since I first read this case.
Close my eyes just so I can absorb it.
It's the sentence that made me know immediately we were going to cover this story.
Oh my God.
I've read this sentence out loud to like just about everyone who's come into contact with me since I read it. Like I've told people I work with, even people who don't know me very well. I'm just like, listen,
hey, I'm at Kroger. I know you're the cashier, but I really have to tell you something because I can't tell Kara.
But listen, no one's been disappointed. Everyone's been like, huh? Yeah. My mom, your brother, everyone.
Okay? Everyone.
Here it is, straight from the murderpedia.org.
Oh, God. Okay.
I know it by heart at this point. The 43-year-old woman's reputation for sexual prowess was such that men told stories of her reputed vaginal muscular dexterity.
She had a magic badge.
I was like,
those Kegels.
Vaginal muscular dexterity?
Like who? That's the rumor you're saying? I mean, magic badges.
I had to go Google muscular dexterity because I was like,
she's doing.
Is there another meaning for that?
She's doing her Kegels.
Well, it's like her vagina has amazing fine motor skills.
Yeah, she's doing her Kegels.
When I told my mom, she was like, "Does it do handshakes or something?" Yeah. So yeah, I put that. I was like, she was the OG magic vag.
Yeah.
Like, what does it mean? Kegels, I guess.
Yeah.
Like, amazing Kegels to the point that it was the talk of the town.
I mean,
so that's that. I mean, yeah, amazing, right?
Oh, okay, so like all these guys are talking about it, and that's what they refer to it as. They couldn't come up like all of them are like
vaginal muscular dexterity.
Hey, bud, I know you've been with her. We're gonna call it this, okay?
Vaginal muscular dexterity. I have no idea, but it's on murderpedia.org.
They said it first.
They said it first. I'm just repeating it.
Can I?
I did text my friend.
Ask them to change it to magic badge. You know what? I'm just gonna go on her Wikipedia.
Yeah,
and I'm gonna
she had a magic badge.
Yeah,
and the source is that article.
Is Kara Hoagland.
I copied and pasted the sentence and I sent it to my friend who's the great niece. And I was like, this is the most amazing sentence I've ever read.
Oh my God.
So it runs in her family, apparently.
Great genes. Great genes.
Rhett, I love you so much. Okay. 4 months later. Oh, wait. So they came out. I got distracted by the magic badge.
Yeah.
Okay, so during the gunfight where the sheriff was killed, Fred was also wounded. Fred Dorn. Okay. And then he ended up dying the next day. So,
well, yeah, because he probably had like gangrenous everything.
I mean, yeah, like he got wounded and then like holed up in the house.
Oh.
So, and remember, I also said the deputy died the next day. So, 4 months later, Sue, George, and Clarence. Clarence was the hitman. Yeah. The down on his luck plasterer. Right. He went to trial for the murder, or they all three went to trial for the murder of Davis Timmerman. The trial lasted 3 days.
Okay.
The jury deliberated for 2 hours.
Oh.
Which, I mean,
yeah.
What is there to?
Yeah.
So, but they found all 3 defendants guilty and sentenced them to death by electric chair. Oh. I find this a little fascinating because
it wasn't that long ago.
It wasn't that long ago, but also she was the first woman to die by electric chair.
Yeah, they didn't find pity for her.
Well, but also she hired someone.
Yeah.
She wasn't involved in the shootout that killed the 2 police officers.
Yeah.
I just think it's interesting that she was put to death for her specific role in this.
She was the mind of the madness.
Yeah, it's really something. So, anyway, Strom Thurmond did apparently try to have their sentences commuted, but he was unsuccessful. So, when it came time for the execution...
They needed Marie Laveau.
She needed to be a fan. She would have been, I bet.
Oh, yeah.
Sue had been housed at the women's penitentiary. For the execution, she had to be taken to Columbia to the main penitentiary because that's where the executions happened.
Oh.
The driver of that car was named Randall Johnson, and he was interviewed for a book that was later written about this. And the book was written by someone whose last name was Dorn, which makes me wonder if they were related to Fred. Oh. But they may not have been.
Maybe not.
So anyway, that driver, according to him, guess who rode along with Sue on her trip to the electric chair?
Her lover, her alleged
Thurmond.
lover. He just can't get enough of that muscular vaginal wall.
And according to that interview, they sat in the back seat together and did more than hug and kiss. So there are more than one source says they fooled around.
What were they driving?
I don't know, just a car. It said he had relations with her during the trip. On her way to the electric chair, she has sex? Allegedly.
Allegedly. Yeah, because he didn't want to just hand it up if he'd experienced that.
I have. He's like, I gotta get dexterity. It comes around once in a lifetime.
Yeah. Like how?
I have a lot of thoughts about this though. The fact that he rode with her, I just wonder, like.
And then he continued.
Did he really love her? Did he really love her?
Yeah.
Like, if he really loved her, it must have been really, really sad.
Yeah.
That he was.
So sad that he had to make love to her.
One last time.
Mm-hmm.
One last time. We're gonna have the sextant one last time. George Washington would never sing that. Okay.
Oh gosh.
All right,
no.
so
but
anyway,
I mean, he can sing it to me if he wants to.
Good Lord, that guy with that voice in the Hamilton. Woo. The Hamilton.
The Hamilton.
Anyway, okay, on January 15th, 1943, Sue Logue went to the electric chair. She was the first and apparently only woman to die by electric chair in South Carolina.
Oh my gosh.
George and Clarence were executed later that same day.
Wow.
Joe Frank Logue, Sue's nephew who'd actually hired Clarence to murder Davis, had been sentenced to die as well, but the governor got involved and changed that. He commuted the sentence, so Joe he stayed in prison and became a bloodhound handler and trainer.
Oh.
And then in 1960, 37 of South Carolina's 40 sheriffs supported Joe's bid for parole.
Huh.
And that's it.
That's it.
That's the story. I want to title this Sue Logue and her magic badge, but I don't want. That'll spoil it.
Yeah.
I want you all to experience
Sue
that
and
moment.
the Magic V.
I just am fascinated. Yeah. I'm fascinated that is a line in an article about this one. I'm just
I really
fascinated.
hope that if I'm ever in anything like that
I'll write about you.
Yeah, please do.
Kara was very well known
for
her vaginal muscular dexterity. It's going in all of our obituaries.
Hey to all my lovers that are watching.
I just think it's amazing. I think it's amazing. So that's it. That's the story of Sue Logue, the first and only woman to be put to death by an electric chair in South Carolina.
I mean, what a waste of a magical badge.
I get to be friends with her niece.
I just love it so much.
You'd love her too if you met her.
Well, I feel like
my friend. And maybe Sue also.
Maybe she's a wild woman.
It's the best.
God.
Okay, so that's it. Yeah. Hope you all enjoyed that story. I'm so glad that now I've told you. Oh, when I told a friend of mine, Andrew, that I work with.
This is going to be my reference every day.
Oh, yeah. Wake up and just remember that that's a sentence that exists in the world.
That's going to be my positive affirmations for the day.
You're good enough. You're smart enough. You have amazing vaginal muscular dexterity. Now go out there and do something great.
Do something great.
When I told my friend Andrew this story, I went into work straight. He's in the kitchen working. I was straight back there. I'm like, I gotta tell you this.
Andrew, listen.
And he listens to the podcast. So I read him the sentence and I was like, what does it mean? And he was like, do you think it has anything to do with baloney? Because of our whistleblower episode. And I was like, that's the greatest callback I've ever heard.
I love him so much.
He's the best.
So good.
All right, you guys. Thanks for listening.
Yeah.
We'll be back with another episode.
Yep.
Because it's October and we're doing 1,000,000 episodes.
Yep. So tune in.
Yeah. Goodbye.
Goodbye.